Uh, so the major problem is that the big semiconductor Peter left the company, and now Stephen, who is the owner, I believe, or the president, he needs to find a replacement for Peter. But then for now, former junior Rina Shi is the one who is taking over, but she doesn't have the position yet. When I started reading the case, I thought that Rina was supposed to be the one that's supposed to take the position because she has worked along with Peter.
Right.
So let's talk about the candidates. What do you think about David?
What about David? I was just glancing over his thing again.
David Hughes. Oh man, let me tell you, David Hughes, I like David Hughes, and it's not, I mean, I know it says that David Hughes is old and that old people usually get tired at that stage in their life, but my conclusion was that perhaps, I mean, it says that they have a really good like team atmosphere in their company, and they're really good with promoting within, and people like to stay there. And so I was thinking it would be a really good idea if they kept her on in some capacity and made her feel secure in her job and in the fact that she would get a promotion. And I was like, well, how do they do that if they want somebody that has more expertise? And then I thought, well, if you get David Hughes, he has all these connections within this industry, right? He knows everybody. People like the guy. And he's at that age where he's about ready to retire. So if you hire him, you instill confidence in Shay that she'll be able to be promoted eventually. And then you get somebody with a lot of experience right off the bat who can show her what to do. And even if he is a little bit lacking in the energy department, she can pick up where he leaves off. And that will give her more of an opportunity to be more assertive and learn how to be the main manager. So I think in that situation, you hire David Hughes. It's like, I called it the quarterback effect in my write-up, because you see a lot of times in like the NFL and in college football, coaches will put a really seasoned old veteran quarterback like Brett Favre or Peyton Manning in front of a younger quarterback like Aaron Rodgers, and they'll kind of teach them what to do for a couple years, and then they'll retire, and then you end up having a quarterback that has, you know, served under somebody that's been amazing and got to see their example a little bit. So
yeah, I think that would probably be the best of both worlds, because it would, one, like you said, give the expertise that they want and the outside contacts that they'd like to bring into the company and probably potential customers.
Yeah.
Then it would also give, keeping Shay in there would give kind of the inside view that she's already been working with Peter with the current contacts and the current clients, and could bring David up to speed on what is currently going on and currently happening, since one, she was a junior associate, and now since basically taken over the responsibilities.
Did Stephen do any kind of additional probing about David Hughes? I can't remember what the word on the street was about him and what his past what his coworkers and his past staff had to say about him.
Okay, but, what I read was that he has knowledge of the industry, but then he has rare interpersonal skills. However, he has close relationship with clients. But then has great leadership skills. So I guess he was the type of man that was quiet and, you know, don't like to talk too much and let me do my own thing. But then when it comes to a project, he would lead the group. So that was one of the pros from David, that he was good at what he did. And he had a good reputation.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, he did have a great reputation, that's for sure. Yeah, I kind of ruled him out. So,
Yeah, that was my first thought when I said, no, he's too old. I guess.
yeah, I ruled him out. I guess I kind of felt like he might have too much of a presence to be able to come in and become a team player. It sounded like he was.
Well, one of the things that's said about him is that he loves to mentor.
He loves to mentor. That's true. And see, I may be getting him confused with the guy who I really didn't like. I can't remember his name. I'm looking at the case. Why can't I find it? Anybody?
Yeah, David was a lot about like he's willing to share and like mentor and teach people, and that like he wants to share experience. It was
Gerald.
Gerald, yeah. Was he the guy who showed up late?
Yes.
Yeah.
Gerald was the
I don't like him.
I didn't like Gerald Baum. I was like, oh yeah, no. Gerald.
No.
Yeah, he says that he has a negative attitude towards employees and coworkers, mistreats his subordinates, and will switch company if he gets paid higher.
Yes.
He fired a junior analyst in the middle of a
meeting, right?
Just a meeting with clients. And
oh my gosh.
And he was proud of it.
I know he was waving it around like like a big trophy. Yeah, I was like, oh my gosh, that guy is nothing but trouble.
Yeah, but some companies would love to have someone like him. Because especially when they are on the budget and they need to start laying off workers, they would love to hire someone like that because at the end, it's for the company's sake, not for the employees. I mean, most of the companies, they don't care about the individual. Yeah. I mean, actually, in my company, one day we got this lady, and we all heard rumors because she used to work for our competition, and that she fired almost the whole department. So when she came to our company, there was a group of new employees being trained. There was this lady that was falling asleep. She fired her right in the middle of the class. She says, oh, well, you're falling asleep. Leave my company right now. And we were like, whoa.
Wow.
So every time we see her, we're like, oh, no, she's looking for trouble. And then at the end, she fired a whole department.
Wow.
But those people, the company lost because they bring more revenue supposedly for the company, but at the end we all hate her. Yeah. And it's not good to work in that type of environment. So I definitely didn't like this type of guy.
Yeah, I didn't like him either.
But I like Sonia.
I like Sonia and I like Seth. I liked
that too.
Yeah.
So I didn't choose just one. I picked those two. I thought that he should narrow it down to those top two and then bring them in again and really observe them, because the one thing that really stood out to me was how prized that corporate culture is in that organization, and that it's what differentiates them from their competition, is so their customers know that they work so well together as a team, and they have top analysts, and so they have a lot of confidence in them because of that. And so I thought it was really important to maintain that culture at all costs. And I found a quote somewhere where it said, you can always train somebody to have the right skills, but you can't, if they don't fit in with your corporate culture, it can be a disaster. And corporate culture and attitude is far more important when looking at hiring individuals than their actual so I don't know.
Yeah, that's why I like Shay a lot, as far as, and I thought they were gonna like interview her and talk more about her. They did a little bit, but I liked her just because she does fit in. She graduated from a good college. She had a lot of people kind of recruiting her, and it even says like she's not the most social butterfly out there, right? Like she's not super social, but she is recognized as being a skilled analyst. She's recognized for how good she does and her work. As opposed to some of these other people that are very like outgoing and have made dropped some serious like bombs with stocks, and they've had really good recognition for a little bit of time, and she's just consistent. And I think that's what they're looking for. She fits in already. Like, she doesn't have any like bad spots on her record, except for she's not like super experienced.
You're talking about Rena, who was the junior under Peter. Is that
Rena Shea. You guys are all going by first names. I was like, I'm going by last names. I don't even know who you're talking about half the time.
That's okay. Shea is fine.
Yeah, I liked Rena as well, just because of the fact that she's already employed there. She already knows the culture. She already knows what, I guess, rules or different things like that. So I agreed with Matt. I think they should have brought her in for an interview or given her more of a chance. Or they were just basing it on her junior analysis work and not what she could do as analysis in that position.
Yeah. I think what they were... Oh, go ahead.
No, isn't that when they bring someone new to the company, usually that new person becomes like a bully because the other ones that are in the company for so long, they feel like, why didn't you choose me? Why didn't pick me? So then my biggest fear was how they're going to treat the new person if he never been in the company. So I believe they'll look at Rena as a good employee. So most people maybe rely on her capacity, and then bringing someone else might affect the whole group decision in this company. I don't know.
Yeah. It sounded to me, though, like Stephen was getting pressure from some of his other top analysts to hurry and get somebody. And so it sounded to me like maybe Rena was in over her head. And I mean, truth be told, she was kind of taken out of the oven a little bit too soon. She wasn't quite done. You know, and their mentoring program is there for a reason, to bring these analysts up to speed. And she kind of got thrown into the fire a little faster than she was ready. And so I think the big problem with Rena is that she hadn't been able to fully develop into that next phase. And she wasn't able to get the mentoring she needed to help her start to get the rankings, because we're not just talking about a senior analyst here, we're talking about a star. And according to the case, I mean, that's a very rare thing. There aren't a lot of star analysts, and that star ranking comes from having a history of picking great stocks and getting that ranking in that II magazine, whatever it is, and being ranked. And she hadn't had the opportunity to even approach that yet because she was still junior analyst status. And I think that Stephen, tried to tell her that, if we find somebody and this doesn't end up working out to be your permanent position, I'm going to give you your own account to handle. I'm going to still keep you in this senior capacity, but it's going to be smaller. I'm not going to throw you in over the whole semiconductor industry plus this new deal with this big company, because that might be setting her up for failure. And he wants her to be successful. So, appreciating what she's doing, I'm going to give you something to call your own. Let's continue to work on getting you where you need to be. And I have faith in you that you could potentially rise to this star analyst, credentials. So those were my thoughts. What did you take away from that?
I think what happens is she does have her own, I mean, she is the senior right now. But as soon as Connor hires somebody that's like her age or somebody new, that's like she goes back to junior status kind of permanently. And that's why I like Hughes, because that's kind of putting faith in her still and being like, okay, yeah, you'll get there really soon. But but a lot of these other people, like again, I'm going by last names. Mitha, I don't remember her first name, but she was
Sonia.
Sonia. I mean, she's not all that experienced in comparison. Or this Seth Horkham guy, not very experienced, but yet they're still giving those guys good ratings. And so I just feel like you take one of those people in that's almost the same, maybe is a little bit more experienced at having the lead capacity, and she just is devastated. I know I would be if I was in her shoes. I'd be like, oh, well, it looks like I'm not going to get this promotion for like the next, forever. Yeah. Maybe I'm going to leave, because she had a lot of companies courting her. So I think if you want to keep her, you just go with Hughes if you really don't trust her quite yet. And then, I mean, he'll be huge for her. He'll give her independence, the connections. Everybody likes him. He was called what did they say? He was like a celebrity in his industry, right?
Yeah, they said he was like a celebrity on the street. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it'd be really good for her, because she also needs to grow socially too, and I think he'll help her grow socially as well. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I like that. I didn't really think about that as much, but I thought it's because she is so loyal to the company. She understands everything about it. Like, why not bring somebody that can just mentor her? I think in the case where some of the people almost just didn't have 100% confidence in her. Her job title was junior analyst, and then she was like thrown into this. I think, if they brought somebody in to kind of help her for a little bit, and then once they retire, she can take over. Then she's really well equipped for everything.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, you have a good point there.
I worry about Mitha, because she's got like another business on the side, and she's got a kid, and so she might be the best other option, but I don't know. It's kind of scary.
The thing that was attractive about her though was her experience with international accounts, and that was something it looked like that.
And she didn't. Sonia didn't really want to travel a whole lot either with her kids, and.
Yeah.
And I think also, to go along with what Matt was talking about, the kind of bringing Rena up to that position is, she'd be going back to junior status, but give her some accounts. And as it's getting closer for David to retire, then start turning more and more of those accounts over
to her.
And it wouldn't be such a stark turnover like it is in this position where Peter left, but it could be kind of a gradual, and that can also give the confidence to the clients that she's already kind of started taking over. She's been a huge part of this account already, and that could keep the confidence and the trust in those clients.
Right. And I'm really flying by the seat of my pants here, because I know nothing about this industry. I mean, I'm just like, what is a star analyst? I mean, I clearly read all the information about it, but I'm not going to pretend like I understand this really.
So what about the SWOT analysis that you did, Elizabeth? What did you get as far as who's the best person with SWOT analysis? Because that's cool. You broke down every person individually.
Okay, yes, that's what I have here. Okay, I put that where is it? Okay. I think more like a critical factors. Okay, in terms of relationship with sales forces, I think David and Seth were the highest.
Yeah.
Teamwork, yeah. In terms of sales. Teamwork, Sonia and Rena, based on the information from the case. Industry knowledge, David was the one that has the highest knowledge. Rena has the lowest, and Ural got this sort of like a high, but very high. It was David. Investor ratings, David was the highest. Rena was the lowest. And connections, it was between David and Seth. They had the one that had the more connections in the company for this type of company. So on this case, it says that we have to look at the salary. So I think I'm going to share my screen. Let's see if I can share my screen. Okay, what's going on? Okay, so this is the salary. I know you could see, and I'm pointing on my. I don't know if you can see David's salary, current salary, and the salary that he would earn if he gets chosen for the position.
I can't see your screen yet, Elizabeth.
Oh, sorry. Can you see it better? Okay.
I just have a blank screen right now.
So let me just tell you a little bit more. Okay, David, his current salary is 1.3 million, and the salary that he will receive will be 1.5. Ural current salary is 0.9 million, and at RSH will be 1.2. Set 0.7 million. He will get at RSH 1 million. Sonia, her current salary is 0.4 million, and if she gets high, she will get 0.7 million. And Rina, her current salary is 0.3 million, and will still be the same if she stays at the company. So if they hire Rina for the position, her salary was still the same.
That's crazy.
And I was surprised by this. So they were giving chances to these other people that never been in the company, and then poor Rina stays with the same salary. Wonder why she was not that motivated.
That's a good point. I like that.
It's very true.
Well, isn't their salary dependent upon how well they do as well? Like there's a compensation packet, and that was one concern that that Stephen had with David, is he thought that he was pushing for a guaranteed compensation package, and he, you know, in this industry, it's kind of really hard to offer something that's guaranteed. So would that have not affected Rena's salary had she been
Nope.
the position? I can't even find salary information. Where did you find that?
It's the very bottom.
Oh, it is? The very bottom of which page?
If you click on the group discussion agenda, it will be there.
Oh. Okay. I was just looking for it in the case. I can see their analyst rankings and the comparison between the sell side and the buy side, but I couldn't see salaries. Oh, sorry, I didn't have that information.
Yeah, it could. I don't know. The salary might be tied into your performance.
To have it on my screen.
Or the salary might be.
No, it's on the.
Not an analyst or senior analyst.
It's true.
That's what it said. I thought it said that it was. Where does it tell us when it teaches us about?
Click on the agenda, and will be another link, and you'll be able to open it.
Okay.
It's not part of the case.
Okay.
You should provide with that.
I was just trying to look at where it explained how they actually came up with this compensation structure.
Is it based on experience, my guess?
Yes, it just says ranked analysts then become known as stars, and stardom status greatly affects the compensation an analyst will receive, effectively splitting the market into the haves and the have-nots. And so, and it sounds like it's a big deal. Like investment firms take out full-page ads proudly announcing their analysts that have been ranked. And this can lead to increased profits for the firm because it can drive up trading commissions and bring in additional investment banking business. So that ranking is like huge for the firm in terms of generating capital. And so that's why I just felt like Stephen was concerned about promoting Rena to, like he wanted to find someone who had that ranking already in place and was doing very well, rather than giving her such an important account to be in charge of, because it could have eventually affected their, you know, just their ability to increase their profits and drive up the trading. So let's see, what else does it say? I don't know. I can't find it. I'd have to probably take more time than we have to try to read through the case and figure out where I came across that information, but pre-screening the candidates. I don't know, guys. Move on. Sorry.
Yeah. What's the next thing to discuss?
Is Elizabeth frozen?
Looks like it.
Looks like she's frozen.
Uh-oh.
Did we lose her?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think so.
So I don't remember seeing anything in the case. Did they have were they concerned about salary at all, or did they just want their
I
star?
don't remember really talking about compensation, like the biggest thing, because I remember Steven, Sona, like she didn't really ask about it until the end.
And neither did Seth. And that impressed him because the
Yeah.
other guys asked about it early on, right?
That was like one of the first things asked about it. Well, how big's
the con? Yeah. Yeah. Well, and it's so I found this piece. This is about David. It says, but Stephen's actually the one that raised the question of compensation with David. And it said that he was unspecific. And so Stephen sensed that he wanted a contract guaranteeing his compensation for at least 2 years. And then it says this could be tricky as the semiconductor business has been cyclical from its inception. It tended to have 2 strong growth years, followed by a year of slow growth, and then a year of flat or declining growth. And so from reading that, I just kind of came away from that feeling like the compensation packages were very closely tied to how, performance, like how, and not necessarily analyst performance, but actually the market performance and the trends in the industry.
Well, because investment bankers, it's all about whether they can get. It's not always a guaranteed thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, and it's just like with the stock market, you could be doing really well and all of a sudden something happens and everything tanks and the rug pulls out from under the market and everything's upside down and, you just kind of have to ride the wave.
Well, I think it also, one thing that you mentioned there kind of stood out to me, that it was kind of vague what he said about it. So I think Stephen should have defined that more and gotten more and, probed that a little farther. And now what exactly are you, because if he's been in the industry that long, he should know that there's no guarantee.
Yeah, right. Well, did you get the impression that Stephen felt a tiny bit intimidated by David?
Yeah.
Because he really, was good at his job. But just there's that one line where he said Stephen was uneasy with how the interview was proceeding. Is David interviewing me or am I interviewing him? So I wonder if he didn't really handle the interview as assertively as he should have, because he was feeling a little bit, I don't know, intimidated by who David was, his celebrityness. You're back, Elizabeth.
I don't know if it's my network. I don't know, because of the storm. I don't know what's going on.
Uh-oh.
I just hate it.
What was the next question?
What do you think? Should Stephen have let Peter go? Asked for more money to stay?
I think if Peter didn't want to be there anymore, then he should have let him go, because even with more money, if he didn't really want to be there, then that would impact his work.
Well,
Matt did talk about like Peter and at the end of like the case and how, or it wasn't that, it was when the headhunter was saying, well, what like characteristics do you like in your new employee?
Yeah.
Like it started more about the money and not about, you know, accessible and like the job and like helping with the team. It was, okay, I need to make money. That's what was his new primary focus and stuff. So if it's if you don't want that for you, keep it around.
Yeah.
Yeah, we never got to find out what happened to Peter at the end. I want to know what happened.
Went to work for the competition.
No, where is it, Peter?
So yeah, it did say that, you know, he was really intelligent and super analytical skills and quite driven and obsessive at times, but in a good way. But then it said he was extremely competitive and that sometimes made others feel uncomfortable. So, and that he seemed to not care who he stepped on to get where he wanted to go. And he started to become more and more focused on money. That was the bigger motivator, it sounds like.
Okay, so we definitely decide that the best candidates would be David, I guess, based on his performance, knowledge.
Yeah.
I think Matt's made some good points about as reasons to hire David, and you know, from the beginning he said he's wanted a star and that David would be that star.
Yeah. Yeah. I think so too. I think Matt made some good points about how he maybe could be really effective in helping Rena to grow into the position. And then, like he said, maybe by the time David was ready to retire, because he is older, so his lifespan there just isn't going to be as long, just because that's the reality, right? Not, you know, not that he's going to die, but he just doesn't have the amount of time to invest into the firm that as a younger person would. And so, yeah, when he leaves, maybe he can have Rena completely groomed to just, you know, step right in that position, or David could get, or Stephen could give her a smaller account in software, and she could start to gain those rankings and get that experience, so that then she could step into those shoes when the time came.
Yeah, because then we should hire David as maybe temporary, not temporary, but in the long run, he will help Rena, especially because she was very young and talented. I guess she just need to be shaped, and then in order for her to be on the same level as David or Peter, and even though she had experience, I guess she need a little bit of a push.
Just more guidance. I agree.
Okay.
And then I guess it would just depend on the compensation. Like if David was really going to hold out for like a higher compensation or something that he wanted guaranteed, then Stephen might have to look elsewhere. Like you might have to say, well, maybe I do need to look at Seth or Sonia or something like that. So there's still some unknowns that we don't really have the full picture.
Yeah.
But I guess it happens in every company. Like I applied for a management position a couple years ago, and then I was denied because of my education, according to the supervisor who gave me the interview. So then they ended up hiring another person from outside. And I was very upset because I ended up training that new person.
Oh.
But then I'm like, really? I gotta train you, and I'm not getting paid for it, and I start getting I start looking for another job, and I say, no, I've been here for so long. And obviously all those thoughts that come out when you really want this position and then you don't get it.
Yeah,
but then I guess at the end it was worth it because she became a great supervisor, and then she's kind of helping me get in the position that I want by teaching me the skills that I needed to fill that position. Yes, that's what happened to Rena, that eventually she will get the training necessary to get to be one of the top ranked continuing.
Yeah.
So now we have to read the second about the general human capital.
Mm-hmm.
It's one page. I even thought that was the case. I said, wow, one page case. You're right.
So
and then you found out it was a lie.
So human capital is pretty simple to me. In general, is just something that like it's the ability to get up and go and get things going. Strategic is just experience. So that's something like David Hughes would have. Industry is the technical knowledge. That's what the guy who just kind of quit had. Relational, that's another thing David has because he's kind of a celebrity. He gets along with people. And then company-specific human capital is the routine. That's kind of what Rena would have to offer. So,
yeah.
It's a good sum up of it, Matt. Very nice.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, I don't know. It says to discuss them, so I don't know if we're supposed to.
Yeah, when I read it, I'm like, oh no. You made it simple, so I'm glad.
Yeah, I think everybody in the case fits into those.
Into, strategic. I don't think I'm that expert, but I think in every job situation, if we read through this, we might know where we fit in, and then I guess the more we go learn, the more we become what the company really is looking for or wants.
That's a good point. I feel like if you pay attention in a job for long enough, you get the company-specific human capital down well enough to where you get that routine down, and you become almost invaluable in the company. Like even if they are cutting their budget, they'll be like, "Oh, well, this person, they know what they're doing, so let's keep them on." So, or if you're just coming in, the relational might be really good. The relationship human capital, because that might be the only thing you have to offer. You don't have the expertise yet, you don't have the strategy yet or the routines, but you can be like, okay, I can get along with people and make a better workplace and learn.
Right. I thought it was interesting on that little one piece of paper how it showed how it had that little arrow and it showed, on the sliding scale. So like that's how I imagined it, that the level of portability versus non-portability and how some of these things like getting an education and having the skill set, having the knowledge, like that's really portable from company to company. But then as you get down to some of those more specific types of human capital, like the relationship and the corporate culture and stuff like that, it's not as portable. And so, those things have to be learned there. And if you've got a person who's got an attitude who's not going to be willing to do that, then you're going to have this constant resistance against your corporate culture, which could be disruptive. So it's important, even though somebody may not be able to come in and get the culture already, you need to be able to tune in about whether or not they have the attitude that's going to allow them to be adaptable and flexible, or whether they're going to come and expect everything to change around them. That's hard. It's a hard one. I don't know if you guys have ever worked with someone who's kind of like constantly trying to make everything all about them. And they're not really trying to make things be about the team. They're trying to make it be all about them. And it's really hard to work with a person like that.
It's very true.
And then it goes back to level 5 management. I don't know if you read Good to Great.
Yes.
If you took B321 or any other class, you read it. It's a great book though. And I was reading through this, and like, oh, that reminds me of level 5 management, sort of thing. So I think we are done.
Okay.
Anything, any last minute feedback, anything you want to say
I don't think
or
so.
discuss? I think we cover
I think
everything.
we covered quite.
I think now if one of our group members decides to leave, we'll just know exactly how to replace them. We'll do SWOT analysis on everybody, and
Exactly.
Matt, you have to interview them for the job.
yeah, we got to interview them.
Yeah. You'd have to interview them to be a part of the group.
Yeah.
That would be awesome. We should, well, no, never mind. It was like, that would be cool if we could interview our group members, right? But that would just be an extra step.
That's true.
But we already don't have enough time.
Very
Alright.
true. I think I'm group leader next week, right?
I think so.
Perfect.
So I might not be here next week, just because my brother-in-law comes home
From his mission, right?
Oh.
pretty similar this time.
Very exciting.
Just be sending any thoughts. I'll just look over all the discussion stuff and send you guys an email or something.
Sounds good.
Okay, so next week I'll already start reading the case. It's Colombia's final mission. It's a 10-page, well, not including the appendix, but 10-page, I mean, the exhibit, sorry. It's looking okay, but it's a lot of pages to read for next week, so.
That's a lot of pages. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm actually excited about it because I used to work for the company that made the solid rocket motor boosters. So I'm excited about what they say. It'll be fun.
Yeah, it gives a little bit of
Very nice.
history, which I kind of like.
Deal. Well, we will see you guys next week then.
Okay.
Okay,
So
sounds great. Thank you so much.
everyone have a good week.
Okay,
Yes.
bye. Keep healthy.
Next week,